Hi, I'm Lowell Martin, and this is MCC Today, your show of shows. On today's show, we have Ashley Tanksley, Ivan Tena, and Linda Candelo. It's going to be interesting. It's all twisty, just like my childhood.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
We have a definite treat today. We have Mr. Ivan Tena and Miss Linda Candelo here to talk to us, and we have something going on in the community, something new that you want to talk about, the Day of the Dead celebration.
That's correct.
What is the Day of the Dead celebration, if you don't mind, and when are you going to be celebrating it?
Well, we're going to be celebrating this is going to be the first edition of Day of the Dead, and this is going to be on Saturday, October 30th.
Okay.
We're going to have a long day. It's going to be from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m.
Okay.
Are you ready to have a good time?
I am ready to have a good time. I have been ready for many years.
Because the whole idea is to have mariachis, a Latin band. We're going to have a jazz band from New Orleans that is amazing also. So it's going to be a really, really fun day.
Okay.
Well, we brought a few of the things to give an idea of what else we're going to have that day.
Altars. It's just basically altars where we celebrate our past ones, our loved ones, that passed on to a better life. So basically, we can have a variety of areas where we can have our altars set up, and this is pretty much what it is. I mean, whatever they love to eat, whatever they like to drink.
Just to fondly remember someone who has passed on.
Right, correct. And then it's going to be a festivity, pretty much. A festivity of food and drinks and whatnot.
Okay. Well, how did you come up with the idea of celebrating this here it's going to be in Dumont Plaza, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So what brought you to this point? And I'm sure it wasn't overnight. You've had a lot of work goes on, but how did you decide to do this?
Well, this is a tradition that is mostly celebrated in Mexico, but also other countries like Peru, Ecuador, Guatemala, Bolivia also celebrate Day of the Dead. They have a little twist.
Okay.
But the tradition is basically to represent and celebrate the life of that loved one that is not here physically anymore. And the idea to have these altars is to have this display of, not display, but to offer, because it's called ofrenda. It's a gift to that person, to that loved one. It could be a pet. It's a loved one.
Yeah, it's a loved one.
And you basically represent in that altar everything that celebrate the life of that person, the favorite food, what was the favorite thing that person used to love to do, the picture of that person, obviously. Candles. One thing that is also very representative of that day is the marigold flower. And what I have learned about that is that the smell of that flower is very strong. So that brings the loved one to the ofrenda, to the altar.
Okay.
And it also represents the sun, the light. That's what the marigold represents. It's brightness, and the candles also, so they find their way and all that stuff. How we came across about doing it in Meridian, well, she already did the Cinco de Mayo, which was an amazing turnout. It was amazing. I mean, the festivity kept on going to late hours of the night, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So that was great. And then Linda got a hold of me because I've been doing a haunted house in my area, my community, since I got here. And it's huge. It's my whole driveway, and it's a pretty amazing thing. And then Linda found out about that. And then Linda, hey, we just run across each other downtown, and And she's all like, well, I'm thinking about doing the Day of the Dead in Marina. I'm like, all right, great, let's see if we can get it together. Let's do it.
Well, when you say, and what you're saying is it's celebratory, it's not meant to be depressing or anything like that. This is meant to be uplifting in a remembrance of your loved one.
It used to be a cult. It used to be a cult back when it's an indigenous tradition, you know, when the Aztecs came in. But when the conquistadors came over and their Catholic ways and religion and everything, that pretty much turned it into being from a cult gathering to more of a festivity, you know, and all that. So,
and it's important to clarify that it's not like a Halloween celebration. It's not a Mexican Halloween. It's not at all, and it's not even correct to say that you're wearing a costume.
Okay.
Because it's most it's not a disfraz, which is the translation in Spanish. It's not a costume. It's basically just a way to celebrate that the memory of the loved ones, but not a Halloween type of celebration.
Okay. Okay.
And it can, and just so people know, we are doing it on the 30th because it's on a Saturday, and we wanted the whole community to be part of this. But the celebration, the official celebration, begins on the 31st until the 2nd of November. Those are the days.
So typically, those would be the days from the 31st to the 2nd.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Where people go to the cemetery. Families go to the cemetery on the 31st, and they stay in the cemetery the longest they can. And in the cemetery, there's always going to be at least one member of the family.
So one member of the family tries to stay
the whole time until the 2nd.
Wow, even overnight.
right, right.
Okay.
because they create this small, let's say, a street of flowers because
candles.
With candles, with flowers, because that brings the spirits back. You know.
Do they try to just use marigolds, or can it be any kind of flower?
Marigold
It's
is
just marigolds.
They try to make it marigolds.
It has to
if they
be
can.
marigolds.
It has to be
It has to be
marigolds.
marigolds.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because that's the scent and
It represents the sun, the light, and
Okay. Okay.
You're going to see that they use a little bit of red flowers, and I don't remember the other color, but it's mostly orange.
Marigolds.
Okay.
Marigolds.
Okay. Now, will you have many marigolds in Dumont Plaza?
We are going to have many, not exactly natural, but in paper.
and paper, yeah.
Okay.
And they were
We're
hard.
trying to have a mix
Okay.
because they're not easy to find here.
Yes, I would think that they're
And
not very easy.
we brought so many, more than 300 from Mexico, handmade.
Oh my.
Handmade.
Yes, they're
Oh,
handmade,
my.
and we have them here already.
Well, we have to take a break, but I want to keep y'all around, and because I have a couple of more questions I would like to ask, if you don't mind. Hang around just a little bit.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first, while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
And we are back. Now, you were saying that the offering, that there's a poem attached to, that people will write a poem to their deceased.
Right.
And then there's usually some type of offering of something. It can be candy, it can be pretty much anything. Would you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, basically they're called calaveritas. So if you want to have something from the offering, from the ofrenda, you read a calaverita, and it's like a poem talking about either your loved one, it could be a funny one, it could be whatever your imagination can be regarding with the Catrinas and death. And after you say your poem or whatever, you're allowed to grab something from the offering if you want to consume. You know, it can be anything from food, candy, a glass of water, an alcohol beverage, anything that's in the offering, regardless of your age, correct? I mean, and then you make your sugar skulls out of you bring your calaverita with the sugar skull and the poem, and then you can grab something off the offering. That's what it's called, an offering too. It's not only for the dead, it's also for like the living, like
Sure.
Can I have some of that? That looks good.
And it's like I'm offering you this, and then now I'm going on. I don't mean that in a bad way,
Right.
But so many people get kind of stuck in their grief, and what a nice way to just not to let go. I'm not meaning, but just to kind of
Celebrate.
Celebrate
the life they'd had,
An important part also is bread.
Bread.
Bread represents the cycle of life.
Okay.
And the calaveritas also represent, or the sugar skulls represent, is a reminder of how short life is.
Yes. Now, this is, again, I hope this is an appropriate question, but can you celebrate more than one person?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We're going to have a community altar.
Okay. No, I mean like more than one person in your family who has passed away. So you can, if you have a couple of family members who are very important to you, it doesn't have to be just one.
It doesn't have to be only family either. Like for me, I'm a music lover, so I do like my favorite artists. It can be anywhere from, like last year I had Van Halen.
Okay.
I print a picture of Van Halen
or a pet. Okay.
Or a pet. I mean, it
Exactly.
can be
anyone.
anything that you love.
And we're gonna have the grand altar is gonna be a community altar where people can bring the pictures of the loved ones. They can bring candles. They can bring marigolds or bread.
A calaverita.
And place them in the community altar that night.
Oh.
So it's going to be
What a
very.
great
It's
gesture.
gonna look beautiful, and I wanna use the occasion
Please.
to invite everybody to participate in our contest. We have 2 contests, and the contest, one of them is to wear the Katrina and Katrina for ladies, Katrine for men, costume. And like I said, they don't really want us to use the costume word when we refer to it, but it's just a way to let people know what we're talking about.
Like the outfit.
The outfit.
Okay.
So if people don't really know what we're talking about, I always mention the movie Coco, the animated movie Coco.
Yes, which was a great movie.
Amazing.
Yes.
Did you cry?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yes, how you're not gonna cry?
No,
you have to be
no
dead
way.
to not cry.
Right. Now, with the costumes, do they have to be handmade? Do they have to be? Are there any
You can
limits?
you can even use what you have at home. The most important, we're gonna have face painting. So if you just wear whatever you want, you don't even have to bring any special costume. Just get there and we do.
You can just go to the thrift store, and go buy an old suit. An old dress.
Or a mariachi.
Or mariachis. Or, like I'm going to be dressed as a mariachi for that night. And my wife's going to have like a Mexican dress or whatever.
Yes.
But you just can go to a thrift store and buy a suit or an old dress and then get your face painted. An extravagant hat for the ladies, you know. And
that's so important. Or the crown with flowers. That's also super
And you said
nice.
you have 2 contests.
Yes, and the second one is a black light student art contest.
Okay.
So we have all the information in our website, which is dayofthedeadms.com.
Okay.
And basically we are inviting all the students to send their art. So it's black light. So use all these fluorescent nice paint. And submit it. So we're going to have first, second, and third place.
Okay, excellent.
Nice prizes.
Nice prizes. You're not going to divulge the prizes right now, but they're nice prizes.
Yes, and we're going to have vendors, a lot of Mexican food, delicious food. We're going to have traditional Day of the Dead food. So every restaurant, we invited all the restaurants in Meridian, all the Mexican restaurants in Meridian. They're all going to have a special dish.
Okay. Then that's the Day of the Dead dish that they,
Yes, that is traditional, like
Mm-hmm.
pozole, tamales. It's like something specific for that
rice,
day. So
rice, beans.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. How authentic are some of the restaurants
The Mexican food?
Yeah, with the Mexican food. Are they Americanized?
No, they're very authentic, and obviously which is very, very logical, is that the flavors change because the ingredients and everything that you get when you are in Mexico or in Colombia or in Argentina, the food is different just
Different
because
spices.
you're getting, yes, the vegetable that you're getting there. Even if we are importing some of those vegetables or foods from Mexico, we have them fresh when we get them over there. So the flavor is a little bit different, but yes, the restaurants here try to keep it very traditional. It's
Okay,
not
well, good.
Tex-Mex.
You're
It's
right.
Mexican.
Tex-Mex.
It's
Yeah.
Mexican.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you know, when you decide to do something like this, which, you know, first off, it starts as that germ of an idea. How long did it take you to get all of this together?
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, but I really enjoy this so much because the whole idea is to use culture and tradition to make this community better, bigger, stronger. And I think that there's nothing better than get to know each other through tradition and culture. So I really hope that everybody can use this as an amazing opportunity to get to know each other, to become, you know, stronger as a community,
And I think
and
that
to
is
know that
important
we're
to do.
bringing something directly from Mexico or other countries in Latin America to downtown Meridian, Saturday, October 3rd.
And it was the first annual, so hopefully
Yes.
there will be other. You know, this will
Yes.
just be the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I
Beginning
look
of
forward to
great
this.
things.
Now, tell us again the website to the so if anybody's interested in the contest and some of the rules, it's dayofthedeadms.com.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
So if you want to participate in any of the contests, just go to the website and you can register. You can see all the information there, and you can contact ACES, which is also part of the volunteers that are organizing this, and the Community Foundation of East Mississippi. So we are like 15 volunteers, everybody working together to
Good.
make this amazing.
Facebook also, I guess.
Okay.
Facebook.
Yes,
Like,
Facebook.
give us a like on Facebook.
Okay, excellent. Listen, thank y'all so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I am so looking forward to this. It's going to be wonderful.
Thank you for having
We'll
us.
be right back.
Since 1996, the MCC Foundation Tuition Guarantee Program has provided students an opportunity to find their potential. Thousands of students have benefited from the program. Over $6 million have been invested in the students who learn and live right here in our community. This program is funded by individuals and businesses who believe in our students, our families, and the economic impact of an education at Meridian Community College. Now is your chance to offer support. Give today at meridiancc.edu/give.
And we are back, and we have Miss Ashley Tanksley here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, I'm just going to tell everybody the process of getting this young lady on the show. First off, she claims that she has a meeting. Every time I ask her to be on the show, she's like, "Oh, I'm in a meeting," and I'm like, "Okay, well,
Yeah.
this we have." And she rushed in saying the meeting was still going on.
And what's going on?
That
But
she
this
left.
is important.
This is important.
We have
But
to
this is the
inform
first
our
time-
community
this is
about what's going
the
on
first
in
time
Division.
in 9 months this has been important. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've known Ashley since she's been working here. Now you started here as a recruiter.
That's correct.
And you were a recruiter here for a couple of years, wasn't it?
Right. I started as a recruiter in 2018, and then I transitioned to the director of admissions in 2020.
Yes, and so you are the director of admissions right now, and which is wonderful. Yes. And so what exactly do you do?
So being in the Office of Admissions, I basically get students admitted. So I'm
Kind of important.
Right. Walking them along that process of what that looks like as far as documentation, things that they need to get to us to be an official MCC student.
And what kind of things do they need to make sure that we have?
Right. So that kind of varies for different types of students, right?
Okay.
So if you wanted to come back to school, your documents would look completely different from someone that just graduated high school, which
Mine
we
would
know
be
that was a
much
long time ago
older,
for you,
a
right?
long time ago. Thank you so much.
Depending if we were talking about a first-time freshman, they would need to, of course, apply, and they can do that by going to meridiancc.edu/apply.
Okay.
And they'll fill out that application. We would also need things like test scores on file for them and a final high school transcript.
Okay.
So once we get those things, they'll be admitted. Now, if a student has been to college before, we would still need them to apply, right?
Mm-hmm.
They may or may not need test scores depending on how many college credits they've had.
Okay.
But we would definitely need all the official college transcripts for that particular
If someone has been here before and they are returning, would we still have their...
Right, yes.
So they wouldn't have to
no.
bring their transcripts or anything like that. We would still have that.
Right, and so we should still have those on file. I do try to strongly encourage students to check with us because we just want to make sure that we have everything you need. And we send out email communications, and we'll contact you about things that are needed along the way. But our number one priority is to get you admitted so that you can get registered for classes.
Oh my goodness, yes, which, pays the bills.
Right.
Keeps us employed, which is a good thing, but also helps students achieve whatever their goals might be.
Yeah.
Now, you're the director of admissions. Now, when you admit students, or when we're admitting students, this includes, or doesn't it, and I could be wrong here, so correct me if I am, students coming in from overseas.
Yes,
because we do have some athletes in particular who are in our, I know track and field, I know soccer, that we have some students who are coming from other countries. How difficult is that process, if you don't mind me asking?
Right. Yeah, so international student admission does fall under general admissions. We try to streamline those processes. Now, of course, they're going to need a little bit more documentation than an average domestic student would need. And one document that comes to mind, like a statement of finances, and that's just to show that you can afford to be a student here with us, because a lot of things take into play of tuition and different things and cost, room and board that those students have to pay for.
Sure.
So we've kind of, I would like to say we've streamlined those processes to make it as easy as possible, a little bit more paperwork, but as easy as possible. And so another fun fact, during COVID, we've actually been able to accept documents via email from those students.
Okay, so before you could not.
Right, in the past, it was like you had to mail it. So just imagine how difficult mail can be within our country, so coming from outside of the country. But a student can simply email those. And we take a few documents from our students domestically via email, not all of them, but it's a simple email to admissions@meridiancc.edu.
If a student who is not a citizen and is already here in America, is it more or less difficult for them to try to come to MCC?
It depends.
Okay.
So they may be at another college, and so that's easy.
Okay.
I mean, it's just saying, hey, I no longer want to be at this institution. I would like to go to MCC, and they transfer the records they already have on file for that student over to us. And so we may ask for a few updated forms, but other than that, that's a simple process. It can get a little complicated in a sense as far as documentation goes when you are in the country and we're needing other documents, because then you have to contact your school in your home country to get those sent over. And sometimes they kind of, different countries have different rules and regulations, and they may not want to issue something without you being there in person. So I have seen that. But we try to work with all of those students to get those documents in.
Are students who come here from overseas, are they allowed to have part-time jobs or anything like that while here? Or is that it just depends?
Right, it depends on what visa they're on in the United States. So for us, most students come in on an F1 visa, and that's what you were speaking about. They're here primarily as a student, and they may participate in extracurricular activities like a sport, an example of that nature. But we don't allow students to work that first semester. And that's just because that's a MCC thing, that's a me thing. Just want to make sure those students, they're confident in the new environment, and they have a solid navigation on what they're doing and how their grades are up to par, and they're doing what they have to do before they can seek on-campus employment.
And I focus on this right now because I'm thinking that COVID hit that particular area pretty hard.
Right.
as far as trying to navigate either bringing students in or students trying to go home.
Right, of course.
I think it would have been a minefield almost.
Right, yeah.
Because you don't know.
Right,
We didn't know from week to week
Yeah.
what was happening.
COVID has affected us in so many ways, but that's the great and the blessing about community colleges.
Sure.
It's our job to accommodate students. We can meet them where they are. We find different ways to accommodate them as best as we can. So we try to take pride in that and do whatever we can to help students.
Now, as director of admissions, what do you think your primary duty is? And what are you hopeful of? So you've been in this job for a couple of years. So, when you first get into a job, sometimes you just give yourself a moment to kind of see.
Yeah, of course.
So what are you hopeful of? Because I know one day you're going to take over. That's all there is to it.
Well, I hope that in the future to streamline more processes. I mean, there are so many things, the trends that our colleges are doing that I foresee that could be beneficial to us as an institution.
Okay, so you want to bring those.
And so I want to bring those here. I want to bring those and best practices along with us to help us grow as a college. Okay. Now, with that being said, a lot of things, one thing I am super happy about, the admissions department, I take pride in, we have passed the audit, which we have every semester since I've been here. So awesome on getting the documentation in and doing things correct in that manner, but just meeting students where they are and having information more accessible to them. Because so many people do not go to college because, oh, I didn't know, or no one told me, I didn't have anyone to help me. Just being that person for them.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here, and let me just say to my audience, about dang time you got here.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to have you on again.
Of course.
Now, are you going to run back and try to get in your meeting again?
I'm done with the meeting.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These Eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of executive producer Matt Milner, media consultant Josh Taylor, and student producer Ronnie Reese, thank you for watching. See you next week.